are back for another episode of The Trend Talk, and we're so happy that you can join us.
Yes, we have a fun episode in store for you. We had so much fun during our trending travel segment, shopping in Echo Park. And Echo Park is a neighborhood that is nestled between Silver Lake and downtown Los Angeles. This walkable area has cafes, thrift shops, bars, restaurants, all within strolling distance, and it is one of the most ethnically diverse areas in Los Angeles.
And did you say that they have shopping?
Oh, yes.
Shopping and shopping?
Yes, yes.
You know, Maravina, Karina, our director, and my daughter, she used to live in Echo Park. And we always used to go up and down Sunset and shop at all these wonderful shops. And it was always great. But when I go shopping, since I don't do it often, I often overspend.
Oh, yes.
Because I want to buy everything since I haven't bought anything for a while. And I don't know if that's good for the budget. I mean, do you budget for clothing or do you just spend nilly-willy like I do?
No, let me tell you, Belle, as a single mom and an actress, I found out pretty quick the importance of, trying to be financially sound. I mean, I took a great class at the Actors Fund, Miata Doga's class, Financial Nuts and Bolts. Wow. So great. It's available to anyone who belongs to the Actors Fund. But I mean, the whole point, of course, is that, you have to start making allowances. You have to protect yourself and your family financially, I think.
But you know what? I think that we need to learn things like that when we're young. And when I was growing up in my family, we did not speak about finances. It was like, shh, no hablen de dinero, and we didn't learn about investing or banking or planning for the future. And this is what helps our children. Nowadays, we do speak to our children. We want to let them know that investing is a good thing, but not a lot of Latino families do that.
Well, it's really something to talk about. I mean, during Latina Fest, I had a chance to talk with Laura Arrona from Thrivent Financial, and she gave us some great insight. It's time for the talk. The financial talk.
Oh, that's the talk?
With ourselves about money, how to keep it, how to grow it, and yes, budget it, so we can, not run out and break the bank every time we go shopping.
I also had a conversation with someone who's an entrepreneur, and she was talking about how her father, when it was Veronica Sanchez, and when her father started becoming a McDonald's franchisees, because he was talking about he wanted to build generational wealth for his family. So right. That is something that was really interesting to me, and we should all be looking about building generational wealth for our families.
No, this is really important. And another really great tip is, a lot of people have like emergency funds. Well, you should also have a fun fund. But, if the fun fund is only $50, then that's all you get to spend. But there's so much to talk about, really.
But the emergency fund, they say, is supposed to be at least 3 months of your rent, of all your bills. That's an emergency fund, not $100 in the bank, right?
Right. Well, some people say up to 6 months, but I think really, having 2 funds, one that's, if the car breaks down, the other one is in case I need to break the bank shopping.
So all this you talked about at the Thrivent
interview.
My
gosh, it's so great. And don't go away. We'll be right back with our trending travel to Echo Park.
Hello, my name is Laura Arrona, and I'm a financial professional with Thrivent. At Thrivent, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. We focus on your goals and priorities and combine financial expertise with purposeful guidance to help you make the most of your finances, no matter where you're starting from. Let's get in touch and begin cultivating a meaningful relationship between your finances and future. Contact me at 951-523-0818 to set up a time that works best for you.
Today's Trending Travels takes us to Sunset Boulevard, just west of downtown Los Angeles, to the famous Echo Park area of Los Angeles.
This area is known for their eclectic shops and restaurants. This neighborhood was once mostly Latino. Now it's a cultural mix of hipsters, young creatives, artists, and musicians of all colors.
In the 1920s, Echo Park was part of what was known as Edendale. Back then, it was the center of filmmaking on the West Coast.
Many silent film stars worked at Edendale Studios, including Charlie Chaplin, Mabel Normand, Fatty Arbuckle, and Gloria Swanson.
And some of our favorite films continue to be shot right here in Echo Park.
Allison Anders' Mi Vida Loca, which starred Sadie Lopez and a then unknown Selma Hayek playing a chola, and yours truly, Maravina, was also in the movie. More recently, Eugenio Derbez's How to Be a Latin Lover was shot here.
Belle, let's get to shopping.
Let's do. Look at this.
Here we are at the Kaleidoscope Collective, and it's owned by 4 women who call it their magical shop. We're about to find out why. So we are so lucky to be here with one of the founders and owners of Kaleidoscope Collective, Carla Lopez. How are you?
Coming today.
Tell us a little bit about how you started Kaleidoscope Collective.
Well, me and 4 other women, all makers, designers locally in Los Angeles, have known each other for years, and we all have dreamed about opening a store, and Virginia found the spot. Virginia's the owner of De La Luna Designs, and she invited us, and we of course said yes. I live in Echo Park, so I was like, perfect, it's 5 minutes from home.
And how long ago was this?
We opened up 5 years ago in this location, so this is our original location.
You told me that you almost closed down, or you did close down during COVID.
We did close. We were open until August of last year, and then we decided our energy wasn't there. It wasn't the right time for us. So we actually closed, and we decided in May to start looking for a new home. And we were getting a little sad because nothing was working out. And then out of the blue, the owner of this location called us and said, would you guys be interested in coming back? And we were like, oh my gosh, yes, please.
And you sell a lot of crystals, and I know crystals bring a lot
I
of
was just
wonderful
going to get
energy.
into that, yes.
Well, I mean, I hope you feel that when you walk in,
Yes.
but we are all about transporting you into a different magical place. So that's the goal, is that women supporting women. Everything you see here is made locally of majority of women of color. We do not discriminate towards anyone else, but a majority, I would say 95%, are all made by women locally.
You sell beautiful pieces of jewelry with, I mean, what are the stones? What are the things that you, the kind of jewelry that you
my
sell?
line is the
Let me
jewelry
see
line.
this. Look at this.
And it's called, and it's about the duality of being bold but yet soft,
Aww.
being strong but yet feminine. So it's all about empowerment through the healing properties of the crystals, and I always say the crystals will call you.
Actually, I'm also very curious about the cherry quartz. I don't know if maybe I can show you.
Cherry quartz is known to release anger or tension inside your body. So if you were looking for something to help you, we
Release.
hold a lot inside of our bodies, and that can manifest as aches, pains, just tired.
I'll be taking this, by the way. I just
So everybody could use a little cherry quartz, probably, right?
We have to come back because there's so much to
gosh.
see.
You are
I love the
always
decor too. You have such great taste. Look at those 2 colors. I love it. There's just good energy here.
Yeah. Hopefully when you come in, your eyes are like all over the place, and every time you come, you find something new that you can discover.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's
Our
right.
eyes were all over the place.
Don't forget to visit the Kaleidoscope Collective and visit Carla.
Shopping makes me hungry, and here is one of my favorite restaurants. The very popular Senor Fish.
Everything smells delicious. What should we have?
The co-founder, Enrique Ramirez, and his sister Alicia opened the first Senor Fish in 1988 in Highland Park. That one is now closed, but they have several other locations. This one is number 7.
Come to Echo Park and live your own vida loca. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of the Trend Talk and our special guest.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hi, and welcome back to the Trend Talk. I'm Maravina Jaimes, and we're still here at Latina Fest in beautiful downtown Los Angeles. And I want to introduce you to a woman who is named a Rising Star Empresaria by the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. She is a Thrivent financial consultant, Laura Arrona. Hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and welcome everybody here.
Thank you so much. Well, it's great that you're here at Latina Fest, and thank you for taking this time on the Trend Talk. I just want to ask you, a lot of people want to start growing money. And many of us want to, but we just don't have the know-how. So I was wondering, Laura, if you would share some of your expertise.
Absolutely. So that's a very, very common topic that I speak with my clients about. So many people come in, and as a first-generation student, college grad, you name it, first generation, I've had to learn a lot of this myself. And so one of the things that we start with is understanding what our goals are. And so I really take the time to learn, what is it that we're striving for? So are we wanting to pay off debt? Are we hoping to begin investing? Are we wanting to learn about retirement or buying that house? Many times we're tackling more than one goal at a time. And so it's really understanding that balance, prioritization. What are we working with to help you get there and come up with a plan?
You just brought up something great. Do you pay off debt or do you start to invest? What's number one?
Great question. So there are a couple factors that play into that. And so one of the questions that we're going to evaluate is, how much debt are we talking? What type of debt are we looking at? I mean, is this a mortgage? Is this student loans? Is it credit card debt? With that, we can then look at, how much is this costing us? So as you can imagine, if it's something that is not costing us anything or just a small percentage, probably a bit of a different strategy than credit card debt that's charging us 26% per year, right? At the same time, we're going to look at the investment side. So are we investing for a particular goal? Are we considering an aggressive investment, something conservative? Are we looking at just putting it in a savings account? That's going to impact our strategy. So ultimately what we're looking at is really comparing the costs and the benefits to each option so that we can figure out what makes sense for that particular situation.
No, that's great. I mean, and you brought something up. I mean, you definitely need to check your interest rate on your credit cards. That's number one. So what about some of these other topics like life insurance or emergency funds?
With those topics, I hate to say it, it's not as fun, right? When we think about investing or saving, it's not as exciting to think about protection or to think about being prepared for an emergency situation. But I'll tell you what, it makes all the difference. So one of the things that I've seen in my years in the industry is we have to start with the foundations. We have to make sure that we start with a solid, strong foundation before we can really ever build on it. Because otherwise, anytime we come across a situation that derails our plan, it doesn't matter how much progress we've made, because there goes all that progress and now we're back to step one. So it's really, really important. And part of the conversation that we have is we take a look at, what are we looking at saving? Do we have anything existing? What is our protection situation? What do our obligations or liabilities look like? And we'll definitely start there to make sure that you have a strong, solid foundation to continue building on.
That sounds like a financial diet.
In a way, so we like to refer to it as a financial house. So the same way that when you want to build a house from the ground up, you don't pick out your windows and your furniture, right? You start with a foundation. You get an architect who's going to help you put together a blueprint, create the foundation, and then you can start building the walls up, and then you can start, selecting the windows, and then finally you've got your roof on top. So we refer to it like the financial house.
Well, I really like the financial architect part. I think that's where you come in. And as a financial architect, could you tell us today, what are 3 things that someone could do to actually start their way on a more secure financial path?
Absolutely. So I'll give you the 3 aspects to financial planning. Step 1 is always going to be to evaluate, where are we starting? So what is our point A? Basically, where are we right now? Evaluating our current situation. That can mean taking financial inventory. So where do we have our money? Do we have anything, in a small investment account, a savings account? Are we, putting money into our retirement account at work? The second is going to be, where do we want to go? So what are we trying to get to, right? So what is point B for us? And that is going to change from one person to the next. So it's really, really important to discuss, because even if we talk to somebody who both have a goal of buying a house, one person might say, I want to buy a house in 5 years, and I'm starting from step 1, where person 2 might say, I want to buy a house in 2 years, and I've already been saving a little something, right? So then that brings us to step 3, which is identifying what are the steps in between. What is going to get us from point A, where we are now, to point B, where we want to be? And so that's where we create a financial strategy based on the current situation, based on what the end goal is, to help us attain that goal.
I wish we had more time to talk to you, but I want you to tell everybody, first of all, you are with Thrivent. Tell us a little bit about Thrivent, and also make sure you tell us how we can follow you and get more information from you.
Sure. So Thrivent is a not-for-profit organization, and we help with financial clarity. So really our primary goal is to help people be wise with money. As I've alluded to this a little bit earlier, different goals, different time horizons, they mean different things to each individual. And so our job is to really sit down and understand what the goals are that you're trying to accomplish, so that we can create a strategy that is designed for your particular situation. I do have a LinkedIn page. I've got a Facebook page, so you can just Google Laura Arrona Thrivent, and you'll be able to see all of my social media accounts, as well as my Thrivent page, where you can get in contact with me.
So here we are at Latina Fest. There are so many amazing vendors. There's so much. I've already spent actually a couple dollars, I gotta say. So if I'm here at Latina Fest, but I also want to get serious about saving, seriously, where do you think people spend, or where do you think people waste the most of their money?
So that would be something that we refer to, it's going to be different for each individual. For example, one common one that I use as an example, because a lot of people can relate to it, is our cafecito in the morning. Guilty.
Goodbye.
Been there, right? And a lot of people can relate to that. For some people, if they're not coffee drinkers, they're like, well, I don't have that issue. I don't, that's not a problem for me. But maybe for them, it's going to the mall on the weekends because they have nothing else to do, right? So,
but if you're talking about a $5 cup of coffee, right, a latte, whatever, or $6, because you got to add a little pan dulce or something. It could end up to be like $12 because you throw in some nuts, a banana. Okay, now we're talking, right?
Yes. So you brought up, a good example. It's just $5, right? It's just $5. But the thing is, $5 here and there does tend to add up a little bit. And so one of the things that we do is we want to make sure that whatever our spending habits are, that they align with our priorities. So one of the very common misconceptions when I sit down with somebody is, oh, this person's going to tell me what I can and cannot spend my money on. That's not up to me. I don't know your priorities. My job is to help you evaluate, where's your money going in this moment, and are you comfortable with that? That's a decision that you're making, right? So some people cannot live without their Saturday brunch with, their best friend. And so to me, it's not my job to tell you, you can't go to Saturday brunch with your best friend. However, you're then going to have the knowledge of, I'm spending X amount of dollars on Saturday brunch. Am I comfortable with that? Is there an alternative? Maybe we do every 2 weeks. Maybe, we go out to the restaurant 1 week and then one of us hosts the next week, right? So it's finding alternatives to help you, just be comfortable with that.
I love that. And if we think about it, $10 here, $20 there. If you add it up, if you really took a cold look at what you're spending, just like, it's just a coffee. You're probably spending an extra $150 a week, which you probably could put aside. Now, would you suggest putting it in a savings account or putting it or investing? Like Robinhood and all of these quick investments. What do you say about that?
Yeah. So one thing that I want to share with you guys is that you can actually use that to your benefit, right? So the same way that $5 here, $10 there, it's not major, but it does add up. You can use that to your benefit. So in the same way, if $5 here and there adds up to quite a bit of expenses, what happens if you do the same thing by throwing it into the savings account, right? Or throwing it into the investment account. So we want to make sure that we're using that to our power. Yeah. And what I would say as far as where we want to put that is, well, it's again going to be based on what we're trying to accomplish. I will say that it is critical, again, not exciting, but it is important for everybody to build a little nest egg because it never fails. Just as soon as you're doing well, the car needs something, or something in the house broke, or I need to replace this. So I will say that it's important for us to build that up. But along with that, what other tools we use is really going to depend on what we're trying to achieve.
Well, I love this. This is really great advice. And please go ahead and reach out to Laura, Arrona, and Thrivent. This is so great that all of these resources are available to anyone. All you have to do is be a little bit curious about your own finances. And the Latina buying power is projected at being $1.9 trillion. Latinas, wake up. We have great capacity, not only for spending, but for saving. Let's start investing properly. Laura, Arrona, I would like to thank you for joining me on the Trend Talk and also for being part of Latina Fest. And of course, we thank Thrivent so much for being a sponsor of Latina Fest this year. And is everyone having a good time at Latina Fest?
Sounds like a yes.
I think so. Well, Laura, tell them one more time where they can reach you.
Yes. So search me on social media. I do have a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, and a Thrivent Connect page where you can get in touch. Search Laura Arrona Thrivent, and you'll see all of my pages come up. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being at Latina Fest. We're going to leave you, and we'll be back with our Trend Talk Trendsetter Shout Out.
Hello, my name is Laura Arrona, and I'm a financial professional with Thrivent. Whether it's right around the corner or many years away, you've probably thought about retirement. And if you're like most people and have questions or want to learn more about how to confidently plan for your financial future, come talk to me. I'm ready to connect and help you get to where you want to go. We can meet virtually or in person, however you're most comfortable. Contact me at 951-523-0818 to set up a time that works best for you.
Our Trend Talk Trendsetter shout out goes to the Wallace Memorials. What started as a dream to construct an AIDS monument has transformed into a movement for change. The Wallace Memorials is a community health and wellness organization dedicated to serving Latino, LGBTQ, and other underserved populations through advocacy, education, and the building of the next generation of leadership.
I think it's important for the community to understand that while there are a lot of organizations that offer these types of services, the Wallace Memorials is really unique in the way and its approach in rolling out these programs and these campaigns. A lot of what we do is in collaboration with community partners. So we work with churches, we work with unions, we work with other community leaders that usually don't have that specific tie into HIV and AIDS and other LGBT issues, but we know that our community as an LGBTQ expands through different sectors.
For more information, go to thewallslasmemorias.org.
And we want to thank Thrivent for being on the Trend Talk and also you for tuning in. Remember to watch us on MeTV local station in LA or follow us on our YouTube channel or catch us on Facebook Watch. And remember, if it's trending, we're talking.
Llenos de algarabía. Ya llegó el carnaval, mucha gente nos visita. Desde lejos y contentos van llegando los turistas. Con el agua no juguemos, demostremos la cultura.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.